Welcome to the Quick Time Event Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Josh. And as always, I'm joined by my partner in crime, John.
The other one, TM.
The Quick Time Event Podcast is a chance for John and I to get together each and every week to talk about all of the nerdy things that we love. If you like what you hear, you can find this podcast live on twitch.tv/QTE Plays every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, or on all of your favorite podcast services all across the internet shortly after the live show ends. This week is going to be a bit of a potpourri episode. We're going to try something a little different. Let's have a little bit of a casual conversation.
Just a little monitor side chat.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, let's just dig into it. What you been up to?
Oh my gosh, I have done so many things. It's weird because I felt like I did nothing for like weeks at a time, and then I just feel like I've been productive recently.
Not a
productive
bad thing.
Productive in terms of like getting nerdy things done, not important things.
Sure.
Just like I'm actually playing things and watching things and blah blah blah. So to start with, I watched. What I didn't watch was Spider-Man Far From Home, because where am I supposed to watch that?
What do you mean?
Like, you can't rent it on Amazon Video. You have to buy it. I just don't know where to find it without straight up buying it. There's no place to rent it because there's some weird thing where, like...
Did you try Apple?
You can rent it if you get it, if you have, like, a Stars subscription or something.
Did you... What are you watching this on? Like, what are you watching it on?
So I'm watching it with a friend virtually.
Sure.
So we've been watching it on our Xboxes. That way we can party chat, and it's like we're watching it.
I don't know.
Together.
There might not be one. There might not be a place. You might have to buy it.
So we've been relying on Disney Plus for most of the things, and then we went to Amazon Prime Video and just rented Homecoming.
The only other place that I can think there'd be two other places. One is Google, but I don't think either of them are on Xbox though. Either the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can rent videos on both of those. I don't know if they would be on either of those places, but that would be the only option you have other than buying it probably.
It's just like, I know that there's a lot of weirdness with Spider-Man specifically about like legal shit and who has what because of Sony and Disney and just all these people have way too much money. But why is it so hard for me to watch a goddamn movie with my friend?
I don't know.
It's so sad.
Do I own it? How did I watch it?
Yeah, Josh,
I might have
did
bought
you
it.
watch it?
Yeah. I might have just bought it.
That's fair. Anyways, so instead of watching that movie and getting fully caught up on the movies, we just jumped straight into WandaVision because we were like, well, that's not going to relate to Far From Home. It's going to be its own thing. Probably same thing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but watched all of WandaVision. It is very easy to just binge through a show as compared to like binging through movies.
Sure. How many episodes was WandaVision? 9?
9.
And they were 30-minute episodes for the most part, right?
Mostly towards like the second half, they started to get more like 40.
Sure.
The last one was like 50, but then the credits were like 7 minutes long.
The credits were so long.
They had to credit like every single translation.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
It was insane.
It was very bizarre. And it like in they just randomly, so there were no post-credit scenes until the penultimate, like the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And they just randomly threw them in there kind of with no warning. And it's like, okay, every single week, even though there was no post-credit scene, I would like slowly X-ray through the credits just to make sure.
3 times speed just to be like, just fast enough to rip through it in like 1 minute or 2 minutes, but not too fast that you just skip it by accident.
Right.
Yeah. What were your ultimate thoughts on WandaVision?
I really love it. Like I guess like where I'm at now, 2 months after it aired, ish. I really like how experimental they were. I loved like the overall like the weirdness of it. I really loved.
Yeah.
I loved the powerful character moments, especially between Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany. Like those two just like they have such a great chemistry together. And like it's not necessarily, I mean, you get it in the movies, but it just like they were able to put like just such a like a, I don't know, like such a more personal note on it in this, because it focused on them for sure, obviously.
Well, yeah, but
like I don't know, it's almost one of those things where I went into it kind of. Obviously, it's a series, and I guess like going into it, I was thinking it was going to be more TV than it was going to be film. And there are some moments, especially in the FX department, where it's like, okay, that didn't look as good as it probably would have made if it was an actual movie. But
a blockbuster budget.
Sure. And like, even with TV, you compare it to things like the major like zeitgeist big TV moments in things like Game of Thrones or more recently even like The Mandalorian or The Walking Dead or things like that. And there's just something about, and I don't want to be like, I don't want to say, oh, TV actors, but there is a difference between TV actors and Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany. Like, just from an acting perspective. Well,
yes and no. Because and I do we want to like put a spoiler warning on this in case we accidentally spoil anything, cuz for once I'm actually talking about something that's relevant and like yes, it's 2 months old, but it's only 2 months old.
Sure, if you care about WandaVision, well, literally nobody is watching this on Twitch right now. So if you care about WandaVision, if you're listening to the audio podcast, open the audio podcast. I will put a note in there as to the time to skip to when we finish this conversation. Just go to that time code. If you're watching this on YouTube, I will put it. You can just click on the thing in the YouTube thing, and it'll take you where you need to go. But yes, we're going to spoil WandaVision. If you don't want to be spoiled, skip this part of the podcast.
Yes. Anyways, so why I wanted to mention that was because this was kind of in a very weird roundabout way spoiled for me. Was it the Emmys that happened this past Sunday? There was some award show, right?
No idea. Literally, I do not follow that at all.
Neither do I, but some award show gave Agnes the best villain award, and it showed up on Twitter, and I was like, it showed up on Twitter whenever I was like the episode before that happens, and I was like, hold up, wait, what?
Wait, hold on,
because I know that actress,
right?
Because I know her from Parks and Rec, and the reason why I was gonna say I agree that there's a difference between movie actors and TV actors, but like there are some really good TV actors too.
But even Kathryn Hahn, I mean, yes, she played a character on Parks and Rec, but like I think she's mainly a film actor.
Is she?
Oh, she does both. So I mean,
so she's a hybrid.
Yeah, her film list is longer than her television list.
Okay, so then all right, then she is a film star technically.
I think she got the part in Parks. Well, she's fucking hilarious, but I think she got. You know how like actors are in stuff together, and then they'll be in more stuff together.
Yeah, it's like okay, they're really good together, and at this point, it's the chemistry that the director's hiring, not the person. Because
Kathryn Hahn's role in Parks and Rec was a bit role. Like she was a not a recurring, I guess a recurring character.
Recurring in a weird like. Probably 3 or 4 times total.
Sure.
At very weird moments.
Right. But I think she got that role because of when she did Step Brothers with Adam Scott.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it was. I mean, they obviously her and Adam Scott had chemistry in
Sure.
Step Brothers. I love. There's a scene in Step Brothers. I mean, Step Brothers has so many great scenes in it, but the scene where they're in the car. Have you seen that movie? Are you familiar with Step Brothers?
It's been so long.
There's a scene where they introduce Adam Scott as like the shitty brother. Is he Will Ferrell's brother or John C. Reilly's brother? I can't remember. I think he's Will Ferrell's brother.
Maybe.
Anyway, they introduce him and he's driving. They're on the way to the house or something, and it's him and Catherine Hahn's character. I don't know what her name is in the movie. And then there are two kids, and they're a cappella singing "Sweet Child of Mine," and like Adam Scott's just a total douche in it, and he almost wrecks the car. Sure. It's such a great scene. But I think that she got that role in Parks and Rec because of Step Brothers.
That would make sense, yeah.
But yeah, no, she's fucking amazing too.
Yeah, she that man didn't see that coming. Like the way that they were able to pull it all together at the end was really impressive. Like this strange phenomenon where you're going through different decades of television, and like you can tell that there's a common thread, but the common thread isn't, I mean, it is what you think it is, but then there's not a B plot common thread. There's like an equal A plot common thread that you just didn't know about. My
one thing with WandaVision is I love what they did with the experimental piece. I love all of the callbacks to the TV stuff.
They nailed each era of
television. Oh, for sure they did. Like each decade was just so great. The thing that they did not land as well as I wanted them to, and when you watch Falcon the Winter Soldier, I think
I'll notice
you'll notice it too.
Is back.
They have a heart. They've, at least with these two series, we'll see what they do with Loki. But like, I'm in it for the entire ride, and then the last episode, it doesn't land completely. Like the last episode of WandaVision, it's like the fight between Vision and I forgot what the not Vision,
Other Vision,
White Vision. Like that was kind of just dumb. Like that didn't really need to happen. I liked the part where they were like having that philosophical discussion. That was really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But like the action sequences and like just some of the stuff that happened, like when they brought Billy and Timmy. What's the other one's name? Billy, the two kids.
Billy and
Tommy. Yeah. Like there was that scene of them like standing together. It's like, we'll face this as a family. And it's like this doesn't seem.
No.
This is not needed. And like
also,
there was some stuff in
family that you're fighting with is literally basically figments of your imagination.
Yeah, it all got wrapped up way too quickly. I feel like okay, they ended it. Wanda got rid of everything. Vision's gone again, and then it's just.
But maybe not like
sure
question mark.
Yeah, we don't know. And then Sword's like cleaning up the parking lot, and there's a scroll there, and it's like, what the fuck is any of this? Like, what? How did all of this happen within the span of like 5 minutes? We needed more time.
Monica is, man, she is causing me so much confusion. Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand what Captain Marvel's powers were. And now they're like, hey, you know how Captain Marvel's powers were at least explained by like she absorbed an explosion of energy? Now, okay, this girl's just gonna walk through this field 3 times, and I guess that's the magic number. It's the rule of 3.
Well, the first time when she came out, you already saw like some, like when she came out the first time, there was some hints.
There was some weirdness where like stuff wasn't showing up on X-rays or like blood work and like medical stuff, but like not superpower stuff.
No. It's not explained, obviously. It didn't explain it in the show. I hope that we get more of that in Captain Marvel, where we like find out. I know vaguely about that character. Photon is the name of that character.
So that's the thing. I looked her up after because I was like, okay, what the hell is she gonna become like really relevant, or like she has to because she has powers now. And so I looked her up and like she has like 5 different names.
Yeah.
It's like Photon, Pulsar, Captain Marvel, because why not? And I'm just like, okay, this is gonna get really fucking confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why. I mean, the Marvels is the next movie. It's gonna be the Marvels. It's gonna be 2 Captain Marvels, a Miss Marvel, a Photon. Who knows?
How many Captain Marvels are there?
Oh, I mean, how many Captain Americas are there? At least 3.
Well, that's true. I just feel like it feels like that scene in SpongeBob where it's like, I'm Squidward, he's Squidward.
Well, usually in
We're
order
both Squidward.
usually one has to die or like retire or move on or something before the other one can take its place.
Sure.
But a lot of the theory, because the other thing I love about WandaVision, and now that you're caught up, maybe you'll be able to experience Loki like this, is I love the week-to-week water cooler talk. Obviously, it's not happening in a water cooler, but it's happening online. Like, I as soon as we would get done watching an episode, we would watch Kinda Funny's reaction video, where they discuss each episode for like 25
where
you're
to 30 watching minutes. The water cooler.
Pretty much, yeah. And like a lot of the discussion around Monica Rambeau's character coming out of the TV or coming out of the what do they call it?
The hex.
The hex. Coming out of the first time, and
Darcy coined that. She's like, hey, it's the hex. It's gonna catch on.
Like coming out of that, I think that, and especially with Tommy and Billy, and then also with Quicksilver showing up from. And I don't know if you appreciate. Do you watch the X-Men movies? Like, did you know that character was Quicksilver from the Fox universe?
My friend who I'm watching it with told me. Okay. I've seen the first 3 X-Men, and then I think I saw Wolverine Origins or whatever the hell Wolverine one it was. But I haven't seen
the new ones,
Days of Future Past or Apocalypse or whatever. Like the last 2, maybe 3, I have not seen.
Yeah. So with all of that stuff happening, there was so much theorizing that like the Hex was going to create the X-Men. Like, that's how we get mutants, is Wanda created them, essentially.
Oh, okay.
And that could still be the case. We don't know yet, obviously, but like... Yeah. Maybe that's how mutants are created. Like, Wanda's off in a field doing whatever Doctor Strange shit she's doing in that cabin.
Yeah, I'm also a little confused about what happened at the end with her. Like, was her physical body and her spiritual body separated? Was that what was going on?
Did you pick up on the Doctor Strange music riff?
Oh, I didn't catch that. No.
Yeah, no, they referenced the Doctor Strange theme in that last. So she's gonna be in Multiverse of Madness, probably a major character.
Yeah, she's probably gonna be a major character going forward.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But there's a lot of theorizing that she's going to be a big part of that movie in particular because she's now figured out like she.
Yeah, this wasn't telepathic powers. This was magic the whole time.
The whole time, she just didn't even know it. Yeah.
Yeah, which raises the question: was it the Mind Stone or was it the fucking Magic Stone?
Neither. I mean, she was born with it. She was born a witch, and then
true.
The stone like emphasized it.
Okay. Shit. What was I gonna say? Oh, it's gone. It'll come back.
Going back to, you mentioned Darcy. I've never liked Darcy's character all that much, at least in the Thor movies, the ones that she was in. She's fine. I like Kat Dennings a lot. I know a lot of people don't like Kat Dennings. I like Kat Dennings. I just thought that Darcy's...
the opposite of most people were. Most people probably don't like her, but they like Darcy.
Sure. I just thought that she was really annoying, and especially Thor 1. She got a little better in Thor 2. But I really liked her in this one, where she she.
Well, she's actually she has her doctorate now.
All right.
She's no longer like the comic relief.
Well, she is, but she's also just like totally does not give a shit about what the government wants. So this entire time you have this sword organization that's like, are they good? Are they bad? Are they just don't really know what they're doing? What's going on? And then you just have her there, kind of like in our place, like as the viewer, like what the fuck is all of this?
Yeah.
But what I wanted to bring up Darcy is I love how they included those side characters. Like obviously Monica Rambeau is going to play a big part in the universe going forward, but having Darcy back and having Jimmy Woo back, like do you know the groan that escaped my body when Jimmy came on screen and
pulled out his business card with a magic trick. I was
Yeah.
like, you motherfucker.
He
Of
did
course
it.
you stuck with it.
I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw it, but during like when that episode aired, there were so many tweets about like, this is the best character development I've ever seen. The MCU is nailing character development because Jimmy Woo learned how to do the card trick.
I did really appreciate that, like, he no longer, like, he's seemingly is following his actual conscience instead of just like following orders at this point. Because it felt like the entire time in Ant-Man and the Wasp that he was just like,
For the most part,
gunning for a promotion and getting like trying to get recognition for like doing a good job.
Yes and no. I mean, like he also was like buddy with Scott, like entirely. Like he obviously he was like checking up on him and stuff, but I don't know.
There were just, and maybe it's just because of the way that the movie was, but like there were 3 or 4 times where he was just going out of his way to try to catch him, and it was like, yeah, I guess you can't ignore the fact that stuff is going on, but like there were times whenever Wasp and her dad, I forget, Hank were like, they were the ones who were being followed, and Jimmy was like, oh, if they're involved, then I'm gonna go check on Scott. And it's like, okay, I see why you're making that connection, but also don't maybe focus on what's actually happening. It just felt like he went out of his way to like go after Scott sometimes, whereas in this movie it felt more like he was, and maybe it's just because this movie was post everybody coming back, right?
Yeah. There's that like the opening scene in episode 3, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe like, I mean, it's been 5 years. A lot of people have changed in a lot of ways, so I think Jimmy's probably gotten a little, taking himself a little less seriously.
Yeah.
So.
And there were just like there were so many unexpected moments that I loved. First of all was that I can't remember if it was episode 3 or 4. I'm thinking it was 4 maybe. When they finally cut to outside the hex, and like it was the second that the blip came back and everybody was back all of a sudden, and like the hospital didn't know what to fucking do, and Monica Rambeau was blipped, and now she's like, "Where's my mom?" Like that whole scene was just so fucking cool. Because again, we're seeing the ramifications of something that happened at this point 2 years ago play out and affect the, like, this is not something, and Falcon the Winter Soldier expands on this even more. It's just like, this event completely changed this universe, and they're not just explaining it away and not talking about it.
Yeah.
It's a huge plot point, and it's like,
yeah, if half the people are gone and then all of a sudden half the people come back after 5 years, well, things are going to be a little weird.
Yeah. And then the reveal, like, I thought that, and I don't know what you thought watching it, but like I figured when we finally got that scene of Wanda going to like collect Vision's body from S.W.O.R.D.
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna steal it and like.
Oh, I thought that like what dickhead director dickhead, if you will. I thought that the footage that he showed everybody was like the real thing.
Right.
So like, whenever it was like, no, actually she was very respectful about it. Like firm but respectful. And
then the whole reveal about like how the heck's like, and then you go and she finds like the home Vision bought them, and it's like,
yeah,
fuck, man.
What a just dagger through the heart that scene was. It was like, hey, here's your dead husband who they're trying to like put back together. You can't bury him because he's worth $3 billion. So, and here's the deed to the house that he wanted to build you so you could run away together.
Right.
Okay. Enjoy your trauma.
So when I look at like all of those pieces individually and even as a whole, like I love that series. It's so great. I just wish the last episode wasn't so rushed.
Sure.
And I do like from a selfish perspective, like I do kind of wish there were more ramifications. Like I kind of wish that Quicksilver wasn't, or like the fake Quicksilver wasn't. What was the husband's name? Ralph wasn't just Ralph. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I wish it was Quicksilver. I wish the X-Men did come out of the series, but can't have everything we want.
Doctor Strange might make that happen. I really like that we finally got, like, we got her origin story in a beat around the bush kind of way, where it was just like casually brought up but not really explained, where it was like, okay, yeah, there was a missile, our parents died, clearly we saw the brother die, but like we were just kind of told in passing the whole like, oh yeah, I signed up for these experiments and ended up with powers, okay, let's go fight Ultron. And it's
the first time we see them is in, I think, the ending credits. That it was a stinger of I think Winter Soldier, actually. It was a shot of Strucker? Whatever Hydra person or ex-Hydra person, like, had them in the basement. And they were like, we saw them through a glass, and it was Quicksilver running around, and she was doing her weird finger stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, so, that's like, all we really got.
To actually get it all and, like, see the whole journey was really nice. Because Scarlet Witch is one of the ones that I really didn't know that much about. Like, I knew who she was, I knew the name, I knew the costume, but I didn't ever really know how she got her powers or anything about her. Like,
well, she's a mutant.
Well, yeah, a mutant witch.
She's in the comics, her and Quicksilver are the children of Magneto. They're Magneto's children.
Son of a bitch.
And so they're mutants in the comic universe.
Okay.
Obviously that didn't happen as far as we know. Like, Marvel, the MC, they could always go and retcon stuff. Like,
they could, but also, well, yeah, then he wouldn't have died probably. But like, didn't Magneto? You said it was Magneto, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he come from like some Eastern Bloc country? Maybe.
I know that he survived something like that, because he like broke out of
one of the X-Men,
Auschwitz or something.
That's how he got his. That's how like he discovered his powers, because he just like folded the fence.
Yeah.
Or like kind of bent it, and that's where it was like, oh shit.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was Poland or he's from somewhere in Europe, but like, yeah, he's Easter, like. It could have been, the parents that died in Sokovia, they could have been, adoptive parents. That's very easy to retcon.
Never told.
Sure.
Oh, so much speculation.
And then where do we find the two? Obviously, Wanda's kind of figuring shit out. She's got her out-of-body magic experience now, Doctor Strange style.
Yeah. Apparently, she's stronger than the Sorcerer Supreme without even trying, according to that book.
And then we have White Vision flying around trying to figure out what he's doing.
Yeah.
Who knows what that's going to like? I don't know. Is White Vision going to figure out, like, I think it's clear that he is not Vision. Like, he has maybe the same memories or whatever, but he's not going to come back as the Vision that we know.
The same Vision. Yeah. Because like the little fake Mind Stone that was blue started to turn yellow, but then turned back to blue, but then his eyes became not robotic, and it was like, okay, hold up, what just happened? You're not a killing machine now, but you also aren't you? ?
Don't know. I'm not sure. I don't even know when we're going to find out.
Job, please.
When are we I don't know when we're going to see that character next. I have no idea. Maybe Multiverse of Madness, but you look at the slate for the next 3 years and I don't see a spot, really.
They could throw him in somewhere, I'm sure.
Trying to think if there's anything else major we didn't talk about yet.
I just watched it and it feels like we covered most of the things.
What was your favorite era?
Favorite era, I was really just impressed with how they did like the first 2 episodes, and probably because there weren't the cracks in the reality to like kind of almost break the fourth wall, but like I guess it's not it. It would have been the fourth wall, but then like if it was breaking the real fourth wall, it would have been breaking the fifth wall, I guess. Like it was breaking her fourth wall.
Yeah, right.
But like, man, I know that we talked about this, but just how much care and effort and like research and expertise was put into each of those eras, especially the earlier ones.
Mm-hmm.
It really felt like you were watching a show that came out 70 fucking years ago.
Yeah, like they nail how those...
It was insane.
Like not just the look of it, but how it was shot. Like how
people walked.
How
like,
how the cameras were placed, how the sets were designed.
It was just mad in the best way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd go one of the first two just because like I feel like as you get closer to present day, it gets a little easier because it's more recent and so it's easier to replicate.
Right.
But like replicating somebody with something with 70-year-old or 60-year-old technology, that is so impressive from just a technical standpoint.
Yeah, technically, I think you're right. I think probably episode 1 or 2 was my favorite. But from just like the bit piece or like the bit perspective or the how it was implemented, I guess. Mm-hmm. I loved the middle or the 2000s, 2010s.
Where it was kind of like
Modern Family episodes.
It was this staring at the camera and like monologuing, not monologuing, but like talking to somebody who wasn't there.
Yeah, it was the one where it was Halloween and Vision and Darcy were driving around in the van.
Oh yeah. That was a good one.
Funny.
The whole thing was good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I'm caught up. I'm very curious as to how Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to stack up because it's obviously going to be a very different animal.
Very different. So different.
No magic, I assume. Not jumping through different eras of television. I think we'll be in one consistent time.
For sure.
But yeah, hopefully by next podcast, maybe the podcast after, I'll be caught up on that, and then I guess all that's left is Spider-Man. Maybe I'll go watch some of those X-Men movies that I missed. I don't know if they're like gonna be relevant at this point or not.
I wouldn't. I don't know with those X-Men movies. I can't remember the names of them. Was it X-Men First Class?
It was
the
First Class. Yeah, there was First Class. Then I think Days of Future Past, which I think basically said X-Men 3 never happened. If I've heard,
I think it's just in a different universe. Like it's the same characters, but in a different same thing with Logan, because Logan is also like after X-Men 3. I think it gets split. The timeline gets split because there's the Days of Future Past story arc. Then there's also the Old Man Logan story arc, and I don't think any of those play together. But like, yeah, so First Class and Days of Future Past were both good movies. Days of Future Past especially, I think is worth watching. Not from a canon perspective, because Disney's never... Even if Disney plays in mutant stuff, I highly doubt they're ever going to reach in and pull those characters out directly.
They're not going to involve Wolverine, who is notorious for slashing people up?
No, they will, but not those versions of them is what I'm saying. They will create their own X-Men, but they won't take the Fox X-Men.
Sure. That makes sense.
But from like just a movie perspective, Days of Future Past was really good. The other ones though, after Days of Future Past, I think after Days of Future Past it was Age of Apocalypse. That movie's shit. Sure. Don't watch that movie, it's bad. And then the newest one I think is Dark Phoenix, and that one is also bad. Don't watch those movies. Not good. Not good movies.
All right. Well, regardless, I am almost officially caught up on modern day Marvel MCU.
Now you can start on Star Wars. You can watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's probably going to be up next. I've seen the original 1 through 6, and I saw Rogue One, but I don't know if I saw any of the new trilogy.
I doubt you did.
Probably not.
You don't need to watch Solo. Just skip that one.
Oh, sad. Anyways, so yeah, I watched WandaVision, and that's only one thing that I did. played more Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think I'm almost done. I think I'm at the end of chapter 16.
Did you go to the headquarters? I'm guessing you went to the headquarters.
I'm in the headquarters, and I'm following the fucking creepiest man in his lab. Hojo's
so fucked up.
Man, he is like... Whenever he was like, hey, I have an idea. Let's make this person breed. I was just like, oh no.
Did you find
Hojo.
Did you find the character yet? The new party member?
No.
Okay, you get a new party member.
I hope it's who I want it to be. Oh man, there's somebody that I like. I want him to be a good guy, because like he seems like a good guy, just stuck in a bad organization.
Oh, we'll see.
It's probably not, but we'll see. Man, I hope nobody spoils me.
I will say,
fucking 30-year-old game.
I will say that the character is voiced by Max Middleman, who you may know as one Ryuji Sakamoto and many other characters. So, yeah.
Also, I was surprised by, and maybe this is just me not paying attention, but like, how big is Avalanche?
So I don't know.
I assumed
for
that
sure.
Barrett was like in charge.
No,
and then it was like, hey, also, no, you guys are just one tiny little sect of this big thing.
Yes. So, Avalanche is a terrorist organization. You are eco-terrorists in this game. That's fine. It's very much like there are a lot of little sects of Avalanche, and there might be like a head guy that lives somewhere, but like each sect basically operates independently.
But anyways, almost done with that, I think. I would hope, because there's only 2 chapters left. I know that it ends after chapter 18. I have heard that chapter 17 is the second longest after chapter 9, so that might take a while.
Is that the one you're on now?
No. Maybe it was chapter 16 that's the second longest?
I don't know. Because there's... So...
Oh, also, I remember what I was going to bring up. So, the Ancients.
Yeah.
I thought that this was going to be like secret forbidden knowledge, right? That's how it kind of seemed this whole time.
What?
Just who they are and their existence. And then you go into a museum and they're just like, hey, here's a floor dedicated to like history. Here's these people called the Ancients. We're just going to tell you all about them.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not give you the most accurate picture, but we're going to, like, I guess if you're rich enough, you can just go visit this museum in Shinra headquarters and find out.
I've never played the original one. I only know about this game, but I do know that obviously that's going to play into the rest of the game. Like,
oh yeah.
Obviously with Aerith being an ancient, like, obviously the rest of the game is going to be centered around that in some way. I don't exactly remember. Like, I at one point in time, I read a synopsis of Final Fantasy VII.
Oh God.
Probably like 10 years ago. Just like the Wikipedia article, like the plot synopsis.
That would have been a long ass article.
But, I mean, not really. Probably. I mean, like, okay, Final Fantasy VII was probably...
I just know that it was 4 discs, or maybe 3.
Sure, but how much plot development, like how much plot is there versus how much grindy JRPG 90s gameplay?
That's true.
Like, a lot of those games is grindy random encounter JRPGs gameplay. Like yeah. There's not that much there. But I do know, like, some stuff that happens. I know the major spoilers, like the major spoiler of Final Fantasy VII.
I think I know the major spoiler too, because I saw a shitty meme version with Patrick and SpongeBob.
However, there's a lot of speculation that this remake is going to go in a completely different direction based on some of the stuff that they did in this game. So,
I'm very curious to see how that'll play out.
Same.
in terms of reception.
Sure. Well, I think it'll make half of the audience very happy and the other half very upset.
That sounds about right.
Because you're either Team A or Team B, and if you're Team A,
I think you mean Team A or Team T,
that's
right?
fair. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So
There's
I don't know.
There's a select Team J, but
Sure.
we won't talk about them because they're all crying.
Square Enix actually made Team J very upset.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, probably almost done with that and having a really good time with it still. I hope that we get. I'm impatient, and now that I've played it, it is now important. So I want the next part to come out soon, please.
I'm excited for Intergrade. I can't wait to play the game again, and then also
what is that?
So it's just the PS5.
It's the PS5 upgrade, or
yeah. So
okay.
I'm getting it for free. You won't because you got the PS.
I got
Plus
it for free
version.
anyway. So like, I can fork over the day that I get a PS5.
You know what?
If I want to play it, I can fork it over.
I think. Let me confirm this. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade.
And then there's also Advent of Children or something.
Don't
is that
watch
a movie?
that. Yes, that is the sequel. That is a sequel movie to Final Fantasy VII.
Oh.
Which is going to spoil a shit ton of stuff for you if you just watch it after playing this game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did get spoiled on something else because I was watching somebody stream the old game. And I saw like a weird plot heavy thing happen. But anyways. Oh, while you look that up, this won't take long to discuss. I did beat new Pokemon Snap. Like the official ending. I might go back and play more because there's a shit ton of stuff that I missed between those like side quests and then all the legendary. Apparently there's a legendary in every single level. And I found none of them.
Yeah.
So I might have to look up how to get those things to spawn. One of them, you literally just have to do something at the very spawn point of the level. And I would have never done it because like you have to turn around.
That's what I was saying. It's like
what the fuck?
No one would ever think. Who the fuck would think to do?
Are you talking about the jungle?
I don't remember. I think it was the jungle actually. There's
with Mew.
It might have been that one, and then I remember the ice one being fucked up too.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for those who are listening. In the jungle at night, you have to play the melody song that wakes up Pokemon at the very start and instantly turn around and then hit this pink ball that flies really fast at you with an apple.
Then
you can get Mew for about 2 seconds before it teleports. But it'll show up later on, but like if you miss it, then it's gone. But still, really fun game. I had a lot of fun with it. To me, it was worth the full $60, but again, I'm probably blinded by $20 worth of nostalgia.
So the Intergrade is the PS5 upgrade.
Yes.
It also comes with DLC that introduces a new character that'll join your party at some point in the future, and goes into I already forget the name of the Wutai. She's from Wutai. I don't know if Wutai is the name of the country, the name of the people, but she is Wutai, I guess.
They're at war. Midgar's at war with, or Shinra specifically is at war with Wutai. So I guess that maybe they're two organizations.
Sure. So she is with Wutai, and her DLC is exclusive to the PS5. So if you want to play the Yuffie DLC, you have to get a PS5
and replay the entire game. Unless I can transfer my save data.
I'm thinking you might be able to transfer your save data because it's not like the Intergrade is just a. Like it's not, I don't know. With all of the other PS5 upgrade games, like with Watch Dogs and with maybe it's just the Ubisoft ones, but I know with Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed, like your PS4 and your PS5 saves, I think were the same. Like you just load up the PS5 version and your save is recognized. Sure. So I hope that's the case. I'm still going to replay the game because it's been a year for me, but
if I get a PS5 like in 2 months, I probably wouldn't want to replay this game already.
Yeah.
Yet.
I mean, it's a chunky game.
Yeah.
40 hours. You can do something else.
My biggest complaint about it as a whole, and I've been meaning to talk about this for weeks now, is just the movement. Were you ever annoyed by the movement where like the game tried to get you to focus on something, so then all of a sudden you'd be running and like you would almost halt to like a very slow walk, and then like you'd be done looking at the thing, but you couldn't just start sprinting again. Like you'd have to like kind of just start jogging and then like go into a sprint, or like
I don't remember that.
Crouching under like
sure
some rubble, or like hopping, like all the movement stuff to get through the environments didn't feel smooth.
Sure. I don't
to me.
Really remember that being an issue outside of one area that I hate.
Have I been there already?
Yeah. It's the area between, I can't remember the sectors. It's the area between Aerith's house and Wall Market, where you go through that underground tunnel and you have to move those crates with the hand thing.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that area.
Yeah,
I hate the song in that area. I hate the hand crane puzzles that are really stupid.
They're not puzzles. They're
not puzzles.
They're like, it's a puzzle in the same way that if I give you two puzzle pieces, you put them together and you're done with the puzzle.
It's a like, really bad quick time event.
There's one answer. There's nothing else.
No. I hate that area. I hate it so much. But other than that, I don't really remember that being an issue. I do remember having some issues in battle with like switching between characters and them not doing exactly what I wanted them to movement wise. Like I'd be like trying to run one direction and I would switch to another character or something and it would like kind of get messed up.
Sure.
But I don't remember like movement outside being a big issue.
It was just like the game wanted you to focus on something, which I got. But like then I'm impatient and I was like, okay, I'm done looking at the thing. Let me start sprinting again like I just was before you interrupted me. And they were like, no, you're not going to walk as slowly, but you're still going to walk even though you're holding the sprint button. And then in 3 more seconds, you'll start to jog and then go back into your sprint. And it was like, okay, I guess people are talking and you want me to like listen, but these are video game characters. They can sprint and talk. It's fine. I don't need this level of like realism. Thank you. Anyways, there is one final thing that I did that I think is probably relevant to discuss. After playing a bunch of Apex, I was like, okay, I should probably go back and play this. So I played and beat Titanfall 2.
Oh.
Out of nowhere.
Okay.
Well, I wanted a short game.
Sure.
And again, I've been playing Apex a bit more recently, and I was like, well, I want a short game, but I don't like, I'm playing Final Fantasy and I'm playing Pokemon Snap. I don't want to introduce like a fourth genre of game. So let's just kind of go what Apex is based on. So I just wiped that up real quick.
Nice.
There were some weird parts of that story.
I don't remember anything about the story. I do know that there are some characters that cross over between Apex and Titanfall 2.
Sure.
The only 2 things I remember about that game was the really fucking cool level in the middle of it with the time travel.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I was going to say. It's like, okay, we're just hopping back and forth through time. Neat.
One of the coolest mechanics I think I've ever seen in a game. Like,
it was really, really well done.
Yeah.
To just like be able to jump from a room to an identical room, but like overgrown and on fire.
Right. Yeah, it was so cool the way they were able to do that. I kind of wish the entire game was like that. It was almost like each level kind of had its own gimmick, sort of.
Yeah, for sure. That one was definitely the best gimmick, though. They could have easily made a whole game like that. Maybe not introduce it until like level 3 or something, but then just have it be the rest of the game.
The only other thing I remember about the game was not being in love with the idea. Like, I don't know, when Titanfall 2 came out, I feel like it was peak buddy robots. Like, we have so many buddy robots.
Yeah.
We have Claptrap, we have Gortys from Tales from the Borderlands, and Loaderbot from Tales from the Borderlands. And to me, BT just felt like a not as good Loaderbot. Like, it made me miss Loaderbot.
Yeah. I didn't think about it like that, but now that you mention it, I feel a little less impressed with BT.
Because, yeah, that game came out, like, right in that time when there were so many just, like, here's a silly robot. It's like, okay, not a silly robot, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get you.
And I just felt like there were better instances of it. So I wasn't in love with that, but as far as like shooter campaigns go, it was a great shooter campaign.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, I think we're both in agreement that the movement system in those games
is fucking great.
So fun.
I really miss Titanfall multiplayer. Is it alive still? Like, do people play that game?
I didn't try to go online. I just wanted to mainline the story. But just wall jumping and wall running.
That feels so good.
And like just jumping into a dive off of that. Like you can do so much parkour in like such cool ways that you can't in any other game.
They've said so many times that they don't want that movement in Apex Legends. You know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that they are eventually going to implement a character with parkour mechanics like that.
100%, yeah.
It's just how long is it going to take?
I do also wonder, so at the end, the one villain like puts a card on your robot HUD. It's an Apex card.
Is it what's his name? Fucking
something with a B, I think. I don't remember. He didn't kill me. That's all I remember. He was a nice guy. He was a mercenary. He just wanted to get paid.
The fuck is that guy's name? Valkyrie tried to kill him, I think. And
what?
Apex Legends leader? No, I don't want a leaderboard. What? Character. I don't even know what to fucking Google to find out what this dude's name is.
It wasn't okay. So there was Kane, there was Viper, there was Victor, there was Ash, but they were all working for him.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I think Viper might be Valkyrie's dad.
Was it Blisk?
Blisk, yes. So Blisk Blisk runs the Apex games.
Blisk. Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense because he just put a card and he was like, "Hey, you earned it. I'm not gonna kill you, but
yeah,
here you go. Join my death arena every day."
Yeah, Viper is Valkyrie's dad.
Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks. He was a fly boy. Kind of annoying. But yeah, out of nowhere, I just figured, hey, here's a short game on my backlog.
That's worth it. That was fun.
Let's play this and surprise Josh.
Sure. So
what have you been up to? It's only been an hour.
It's only been an hour. I've playing. It's the anniversary event for Overwatch. I'm trying to decide if I'll get to that in a little bit. I think there was some Overwatch news today that I want to talk about a little bit. But anniversary event for Overwatch is going on right now. There's some pretty cool skins. There's a catsuit Sombra skin that everybody's fucking freaking out over.
Is it a? I remember I saw it trending on Twitter, but why is everybody freaking out?
Just because it's Sombra in a catsuit, basically. That's about it. That's all you need to know. And playing more Apex Legends.
Google just made my search very wholesome with an autocorrect. I was gonna search cat sombra just to like see why the internet freaked out, and it autocorrected me to cat sombrero.
Ooh.
So there are a bunch of little kittens with sombreros on their heads all over my screen.
And then last Friday, I got started on my journey through Mass Effect.
Oh yeah, one of your favorite franchises back.
For sure. I think I'm about 15 hours in so far. However, I did...
They're short if you mainline them, but long if you don't, right?
Say that again?
They're short if you mainline them, and long if you don't.
Yeah, if you mainline them, you could probably get through Mass Effect 1 in less than 20 hours.
So you could have been done with Mass Effect 1 by now,
yeah.
Probably.
I actually had to restart. I was kind of upset. I fucked up. I forgot. So there's a trophy for finding the codex entries for all of the major species. And for some ungodly 2008 reason, BioWare decided to hide one codex entry in a conversation that you have to have with a person literally in the first 5 or like the first 10 minutes of the game. And then you have to do something else later on that I missed. So I lost 3 hours. I should be 3 hours further than I am right now.
Should be 18 hours.
Should be 18 hours. I'm not. I'm only 15.
Jack shit.
So things about Mass Effect 1. I know last week you wanted me to like talk about my experience with Mass Effect to let you know if you should get into it.
Yes.
Mass Effect 1 looks really good compared to what it used to. Like, I actually kind of want to have a little bit of a conversation, maybe depending on how much time this takes, about remasters and like what remasters should be in the year 2021. Because this is one that's well worth it. Like BioWare actually took the time to go in and redo textures to make Mass Effect 1 look like how I remember Mass Effect 1 looking.
Did they do so? To put it in perspective that I would understand, did they give it the Halo 2 remaster treatment where like...
It's not that drastic because like...
Okay.
Blurred Infinity or Blurred something. Whatever studio was in charge of Halo 2, especially the cut, because they had a separate company do the cutscenes.
Yeah, those cutscenes were fucking...
It's not that. Like it's not to that level, but... It's at least at the level where if I go back and I look at the original Mass Effect 1, it looks dated and old as shit.
Yeah.
This does not look like this looks like a game that could have come out this year. At least from like a texture standpoint. Like there's sure. Like facial animation is definitely old. They couldn't fix a lot of that. But like it does not look like it. At least from the graphical perspective, it has not aged, or it aged very well with the additions that they did. The narrative and like the decision making piece of the game is still like that's what I would sell Mass Effect 1 on to you. The combat is dated. It just is. It's dated.
I remember not liking the combat because I did try Mass Effect 1 forever ago, and I remember that being kind of a hang up for me.
Sure.
Like it just didn't click with me.
It's not I don't want to say it's not fun. But depending on your class, like it's old. Like it feels sure. I'm trying to think of like what I could compare it to. Because like I don't know, it's almost like if you go from playing Apex Legends to playing Halo Combat Evolved.
Okay.
Like it feels. Have you played any third-person shooters recently? Like I'm trying to think what games you've played, because even me this year I played Outriders, and like Outriders feels great.
Sure.
But then like Mass Effect 1 is that going from 2021 game to 2008 game. Okay. It's the same system. It just feels a lot worse. Now there are like abilities and stuff like on top of it. So there's the gunplay. The gunplay doesn't necessarily feel that good. And then depending on the class you pick and depending on the abilities you have, there are like spells kind of that you can cast. There's like there's an engineer talent tree where you have like manipulation over machines, and then you have the biotic class where you can like lift people up and throw them against a wall and stuff.
Okay.
Those feel okay. It's just like the combat is dated for sure. I don't think that it's like bad enough to like not play it, because again, like the main point of that game isn't necessarily the combat. The combat is there as filler essentially to get to the next story piece. Now, Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3 I know improved on that a lot, and like the systems changed and they felt much better. But Mass Effect 1 still feels old. And they like, even at the time the Mass Effect came out, BioWare was aware of that. Like they put out that DLC where like you could skip Mass Effect 1 entirely by making like reading a comic book essentially.
Yeah, at the start of 2 where it's like, hey, you can just make all the choices now.
I remember when I played Mass Effect for the first time back in like 2012, I think. I went in and bought the collection. There's a trilogy collection.
Sure.
That had 3 discs in it. And the guy at GameStop straight up told me, like, don't play Mass Effect 1. Just, you don't need to play it. Just go right to 2. I would not recommend doing that, because Mass Effect 1, to me, I think is still my favorite story of the 3. Like, it's such a great space opera. And like, I guess that's another big caveat, is you don't necessarily need to be, but I think that like being a sci-fi fan brings a lot to this.
Sure. Because
you see the world development that BioWare was able to do here in creating this entire universe from scratch with these really interesting alien species, this really interesting form of government, this really interesting way of bringing humanity into this universe. Like the entire plot of the game is humanity finding its place in this universe. Like it's...
Yeah, because didn't they just join like the
very recently
galactic UN basically?
Yeah, so essentially at the beginning of the game, there's a little prologue, but I want to say within the last 100 years, humanity found Prothean remains on Mars, like this ancient civilization technology on Mars, which then led them to a Mass Effect relay, which allows you faster than light travel, and then they were discovered by the other species essentially. And so yeah, they got
about Reapers too.
Yeah, that's the plot.
I just don't remember what exactly they are.
Sure. The Reapers in Mass Effect 1, nobody believes that they're real.
Okay.
Yes.
Which means that they are 100% real.
Sure are. Yeah, they are. But yeah, like it's this great story about like humanity finding its place and like what that means, and you as the character that is representing humanity by becoming a secret agent essentially for the new UN government. Like you essentially direct how humanity is viewed, and like all of this weight gets put on you.
But
exactly.
Your entire species is reflected by your decisions.
That is the plot of the game. There's like the story is just so great, and then you also throw in this amazing cast of characters, and it's like it's crack for me. This is what I live for in games.
Perfection.
And the combat is so secondary. The fucking driving the Mako is so fucking secondary. I don't need to drive the Mako. The Mako fucking sucks trying to drive it up a mountain.
Is that the like resource scanning thing?
No, the Mako it's a car. There's a car in Mass Effect 1 that you drive around on planets. And it's really bad. It's like maybe worse than the Halo 1 Warthog physics.
Oh wow.
Like where it's bad. Now they did improve it actually in this remaster. They improved
now it's
the
like
Mako
driving
physics.
A Halo 2 Warthog.
Yeah, maybe even a Halo 3 Warthog, maybe.
Ooh.
So they did improve the physics on it. It doesn't feel as bad as it used to. It doesn't flip over all the time now. So that's good. But like, you have to go into Mass Effect with the expectation that the actual action gameplay is not. It's not going to feel good. It's just not.
Sure.
That'll be remedied for the most part of Mass Effect 2.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just as good as I remember it being. Yeah. Honestly, right now I want to go play it. I wish I was playing Mass Effect. That's how I feel most of the day.
That's fair. How long do you think until you beat it?
I've been doing. I'm gonna probably 100% it. Like, I know I'm gonna get all the trophies, but I'm probably going to go I'm gonna do all the side missions and stuff.
Sure.
So I probably am a quarter of the way done.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah.
Have you been up to anything else, or has that been mostly it?
I'm trying to think if there's anything else, because there aren't any Marvel series happening. I think I talked about Yasuke last week.
Yes. The magical mech show.
The magic mech historical drama. We did start watching Konosuba, which is
that's the one with, is it Aqua?
Yes, she is a character. So it's
I've seen her pop up on my Twitter timeline randomly.
Yeah, it's to pitch you the show. Do you know what the idea of the isekai genre?
No.
It's like the genre of anime where the main character is transported to another world. It's Ni no Kuni.
Yes.
It's Sword Art Online, that kind of thing.
It's there was a one that I watched forever ago.
Fate, I think might be one.
Oh, well,
maybe.
Fate's almost the opposite. Fate, they summon heroes from other places to us. So I guess if you're viewing them as the protagonists.
I don't know. I've never seen Fate, so I don't know. But
I have. I think, if we're talking about the same Fate. There might be multiple Fates.
There's 12 Fates, I think. Fate is one of the biggest.
I've seen 2 of them. Anyway, so
Konosuba is basically lampooning the isekai genre. It's like taking all of the tropes from isekai shows and basically making it the butt of the joke. It's a comedy anime.
Okay.
In an isekai world, I guess. But it's funny. It's
sounds like it's popcorn for you.
Yeah, for sure. I think my favorite part is it's got a lot of, it nails for me visual humor. Because I don't know, there's when I think about comedy anime, when I think about something like Nichijou, Nichijou just has a lot of good jokes in it, and there also is good visual humor, but there was a scene in Konosuba where this old woman was I think she was just it was a total throwaway scene where it was just the camera pans over this woman who doesn't matter, and she's bought a huge radish or something, and she threw it over her shoulder, and she had a baby slung on her back, and it just smacked the baby in the head. And it was one of the funniest things I've seen in a while.
Something that is 100% not needed.
No, total slapstick, just visual gags. They're really good. But I think that's really the only other thing. I can't think of anything else.
That's fair.
That I've been up to. You see those Overwatch changes today?
I saw one, I think.
So today there was
Overwatch 2.
Yes, so there was an Overwatch 2 PvP live stream today where the new Overwatch team lead, Aaron something, I can't remember his name, Aaron Keller, showed off some PvP changes for Overwatch 2, because a lot of the stuff we've gotten to this point has just been PvE stuff, story content.
Yeah.
And he made the big reveal today that it's going to be a 5v5 game going forward, taking away one of the tanks.
That. Oh, taking away a tank specifically.
Yeah. So it's going to be...
I didn't see that.
Yeah, so 1 tank, 2 DPS, 2 support characters.
Interesting. A lot of pressure on that tank.
That's what I'm like. On the one hand,
I don't want to play tank anymore.
On the one hand, I think this is like, for the health of the game, I think this makes a lot of sense. As long as they, and it sounds like they are, going to be addressing the issue of only having one tank. Because sure. Like the tank queue is always the one, when you look at role queue, the tank queue is always the one that's the longest. The entire reason they've implemented all of these like bonuses for playing tank is because no one wants to fucking play tank.
Yeah.
And
they're incentivizing people to play the person that you don't want to play so that people aren't waiting forever. So they've,
watching the live stream today, it looks like they've made a lot of changes to the tanks to make them more fun to play. Like the idea behind, like the design philosophy that they talked about is trying to make everything more aggressive, essentially.
Okay.
And so, like, some of the changes that they've made, like all of the tanks have reduced knockback, like cooldowns are different. Reinhardt now has like 2 fire strikes instead of just 1. Plus he can like steer his charge a lot better, and he can also cancel his charge if he doesn't want to like overcommit.
Oh, okay.
So like they're doing a lot of changes, quality of life stuff to the tanks to make them more viable. My only real concern with this is the idea of positioning, because like as a seasoned Overwatch player, I'm not a great Overwatch player, but I understand the game, and I think the biggest thing that new players don't understand is that positioning is the biggest like indicator of success in Overwatch.
Sure.
And what I see a lot is new players and bad players like beg for tanks to like, they want a shield at all times.
Yeah.
And usually like under the current system, you would have a main tank and an off tank, and the main tank would be a shield tank, and then the off tank would be a diva or a wrecking ball or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in the new system, there could be a situation where there is no shield. Like you just have diva, or you just have wrecking ball or roadhog or somebody.
Yeah.
And like, I think that people who've been playing Overwatch for a long time and don't want to get better, or like new players that come on that don't necessarily understand how positioning works, it could lead to a lot of tank toxicity.
Probably.
Or not toxicity towards the tanks.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I know there are a lot of people who are upset right now about, maybe not a lot, but I've seen a lot of outcry for the Overwatch League. Like, essentially they're cutting a role off of every team. So there are going to be people out of jobs.
That sucks.
But at the same time, like, they need to focus on the health of the game first and foremost. Like, you can't have a healthy Overwatch League if Overwatch itself is not healthy.
True.
So, like, if this is the design
that the teams can keep that person as a reserve,
sure.
Like,
and even they'll probably keep them anyway, because there will probably be certain team compositions or certain maps even, or certain instances where they want to have an off-tank main play, or like an off-tank play in place of a main tank. Like, there might still be, obviously they're all going to be tank mains, but there are going to be people who are better at the off-tank, more like specialist roles like Diva and Wrecking Ball. And then there are going to be people who are more inclined to play a more main tank type role like Reinhardt or Orisa. So like there's still the opportunity for them to employ both of them. But yeah, like to me, the Overwatch League needs to be secondary, because if there's no game, there's no esport.
Yeah. The game came first.
Yeah.
The league came after.
There are some other cool like little things. So each class basically is going to have its own passive ability. So I mentioned already the tanks are going to have decreased knockback. So like boops aren't going to be as powerful on tanks.
Hate to see it.
DPS characters are faster, so they're gonna run a little bit faster.
Love to see that.
Than everyone else. And this is all current stuff. The game is obviously still in development, and they said like probably 1,000 times today that all of this could change at any time.
Oh yeah, everything's subject to change until it's out.
And then all of the healers are going, or all the support players characters are going to have passive healing after a certain amount of time, like Mercy's passive.
Okay.
Not as good as Mercy's passive, but like especially as like Ana. Now I no longer, if I'm missing 50 health, now I no longer have to like have the debate in my head whether I nade myself or just like try and poke my head around to see my other healer to get them to heal me.
Sure.
Now I can just wait 3 seconds and I'll be topped up. So that'll be nice. They showed off some new maps. There's a new game type called Push, which is like payload but going both ways. It's basically tug of war with a payload.
Oh, okay. I getcha.
And there's like they're experimenting with character abilities. So some of them are like to get especially like tanks to be more viable. So like Winston now has a projectile attack too, where he like shoots a bolt of electricity.
Yeah, I saw like somebody already made a meme or comic out of it, and I was like, Jesus, this just happened like an hour ago.
Nothing is ever going to top the Pokemon Sword and Shield reveal of Sonya.
Oh yeah,
like they revealed like Sonya, and within 20 seconds there was lewd fan art of her on Twitter. It's like people had drawn the body, and they were just waiting for what the face was gonna look like. It's like, I get it. Like, Sonya's like a pretty good character, and like, okay, but can you like can you get out of horny jail for like fucking 30 seconds? Can you like wait at least a day before you draw that? Get that out of your head? Nope.
That's their talent, Josh.
And then May is her primary fire no longer freezes enemies; it just slows them down. So now good. I'm never, or very rarely, unless I get caught in the ult, am I going to have to like have that condescending headshot of like, oh, I froze you. Now let me stand there while I line up my ridicule perfectly. That's not going to happen anymore. Fuck you,
good.
Mate. So that's exciting.
It is weird. It is weird to think, going back to the Overwatch League. It is weird to think about like, what if there was a football too? Or like a soccer too? Like any other sport, it just the rules just change
ever so slightly
progressively over time. You don't just have like a sequel to that sport. That's so strange.
Where they ran, there's a lot of stuff being tweaked. It's like with the NFL, they'll implement one new rule every year or something where it's like, okay,
or like more specifically or more recently rather, in baseball, like I think they made the ball more, somebody said that it's more offensive for the pitcher to make it more exciting, but then also there have been like 6 no-hitter games because of it in the past like 2 weeks.
Sure.
But yeah, just one little change here and there.
But
like
this is
some rule.
Right. This is like, okay, with baseball, usually there are 9 players, but now there's going to be 5. And then also, the batter can have 4 bats in at once. If he can, he has 2 robot hands, and now he has 4 bats. Yes. And then the pitcher is actually just a pitching machine now. It's one of those batting cage things, except that it's launched out of a fucking cannon. I don't know.
The bases are a Z shape, no longer diamond. Actually, even better. They're the fucking shitty ass middle school S, that fancy super S
cool
that
S?
everybody wanted. Yeah. There's like 10 bases now, and it's in the shape of the diamond S.
Yeah, it is going to be kind of weird. No indication as to when this game's coming out. I think it's pretty safe to say it's not coming out this year.
Probably.
I hope.
Blizzard's got their hands full.
I hope it's like early next year, because it's just like, I'm still coming to terms with the fact that I have to go a whole nother, like, there's going to be a whole nother year at this point, hopefully a whole nother year of basically no content. It's the anniversary event right now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So, like, no new characters, no new maps. I'm hoping there will be a beta.
Fail.
Like, if I know BlizzCon Line just happened in February, but usually BlizzCon's in November. So, like, if they have 2 BlizzCons in 1 year, which could happen, like, maybe we'll get a beta in November. That might be cool, but yeah, a whole other year with no new content is not going to be great, I don't think.
No.
Good thing I picked up Apex Legends.
Yeah, really.
Something else to fill my time with, I guess. So let's go back to the remastered thing. I think that the Mass Effect trilogy is about as good as you can do on a remaster. Like, it's okay, so let's discuss what makes a good remaster.
Yes.
With Mass Effect, it's a trilogy that was not available on the last generation, outside of the Xbox, but only because of backwards compatibility. If you own a PlayStation console, you couldn't play it. So I think that is like the first key, is that it's an old game. It was 2 systems ago that this came out on.
Yes.
And then it wasn't just a straight port. Like, they did work on it. They improved physics. They improved the feel of the game. They improved textures. They even improved some, like, weird little mistakes. Like, there was in Mass Effect 1, there was this mission where there's this terrorist that is, like, holding captives, and basically he hates humans, except that there was a bug and he was a human.
What?
Like, you only ever see him.
That's a giant bug.
Yeah, you only ever see him, I think, in a holovid, like a hologram type projection, and he's a human. But he wasn't supposed to be. He was supposed to be a Turian, but there was some weird bug that made him a human.
That's not a bug. That's a fuck up.
Yeah. So they like fix stuff like that. Now he's a Turian. He's fixed. He's fine. But like there's a lot of like, maybe not. I don't know. It's a company, so love and care is maybe not the right word. But like there was more. That was
probably
thought.
Not the motivation.
There was more thought that went into this.
Sure.
Than there probably even needed to be. Like, I would have totally just accepted a straight port of the games, to be completely honest. Like, because I have been wanting it for a long time. But they didn't just do that.
Yeah.
They went above and beyond. Contrast this with what has been the case with our favorite company, Nintendo.
Love them.
And it's just like, what the fuck? Why? And this what I'm about to ask you is the reason why I bring this up. Because you tweeted the other day because you were excited about an amiibo.
Yep.
A Skyward Sword Remastered or HD or whatever it's called is getting a $25 amiibo.
Loftwing and Skyward Sword Zelda, and wow, did the internet get mad about it. Because Nintendo is charging $60.
Yes. For a port? Are they doing anything to it? It's just a port, right? Maybe HD textures, or not even textures. Yeah, they're upscaling it.
It's going to be 1080 instead of whatever it was, probably 480.
So they're upscaling the resolution.
But otherwise, I don't. Here's the thing: we don't know if they're doing anything else. They've been, as Nintendo does, they've been very, very quiet about it.
But if what they fucking did for Mario last year is any indication, they're not doing shit to it.
Yeah, I have zero expectations for like quality of life changes, except for the one that's locked behind
a 25. So not only are they charging $60 for a straight port, basically, of a game, file save as 1080p style.
No. Mm-hmm.
They're also locking the only theoretically new feature behind an additional $25 DLC.
Yeah, it would certainly look that way, wouldn't it?
What the fuck are they smoking? How did they what board meeting happened? Or like how did this happen?
I wish I knew. And what's even more just absurdly frustrating is the fact that in the previous generation, the Wii U, which didn't do that well, obviously, they made a Twilight Princess HD remaster, I guess. But when they sold it brand new, they sold you, if you bought it, I think you could get just the game for $40. But if you bought the $60 version, it came with the Wolf Link amiibo, and it came with the CD soundtrack. That I can justify $60.
Sure.
I would even say I'd justify $70, because like you're getting a game that you might not have played, and if you did, it's, I guess, remastered. I don't remember how well the remaster was done, if it was just a file save as HD. But you're also getting an amiibo, which normally is like $15, and you're getting a soundtrack, which I think most CD soundtracks kind of baseline price is like $10. So like that's $25 worth of stuff, same price as the Loftwing amiibo. So that's justified. Splitting these out so that you can buy the controllers, the Joy-Cons, for $70. You can buy the Loftwing amiibo for $25, which will have quality of life improvements.
Like a major quality of life improvement too.
Yeah. My biggest worry is that like there's just been just stock issues for anything collector edition or just anything in the video game industry recently has been atrocious.
Yeah.
And like I'm buying this amiibo not for the quality of life changes.
Sure.
I'm buying it because I have them all and I want it.
I'm not saying the amiibo by itself is a bad thing. Like it's $25. I think because there's technically 2 characters on the amiibo stand.
There's 2 characters. It's definitely larger than a lot of the other ones. There's a lot of detail, and I'm sure that the mold, because it has 2 characters, is going to be more expensive.
Yeah, I can accept the $25 price point for the amiibo.
Yes.
The fact that they hide the
locking a quality of life change behind it is not okay.
No. And I get that there's also, this is probably something they've always had to deal. I've never actually heard discussion about this before, but like the idea of amiibos, the entire point of the amiibo was that it was supposed to do something, right? Like the amiibos have always unlocked something. Like you were able to put them on the Wii Mote or the Wii U gamepad or whatever, or the 3DS. Yeah,
you put them in the little corner. Yeah, or on the, I think it's the
D-pad, I think, on the 3DS. Oh yeah, the joystick, you're right.
Yeah.
And then on the Switch, obviously, too. But, like, I feel like most of the time they don't really do anything. Has Nintendo ever caught heat about that? Like, oh, these are pointless?
I don't think so, because, like, they are pointless, but, like, they do enough. And also, they're basically just cheap figures.
Well, that's what I'm asking is, like, have they I think that they're totally worth it for just the figure. Like,
yes.
They're high quality figures. They look good.
Yeah, the ones that I have, like, I have all the Zelda ones, and I absolutely adore them. They're, like, for the price point,
sure,
it's compared to, like, an Android or something, it's a steal.
Yeah, no, I think that's totally fine. I wonder if they've ever caught heat, like, oh, these don't do anything. Why do I... Like,
I don't think so, but I think it's because they didn't do anything.
So then they decided to, like, the one time where they put an essential feature...
They did do it for something else, because this is thanks to Twitter, I've been informed that there was another pretty major, not quality of life thing, just game feature that was locked behind an amiibo. In the remake of Samus Returns that came out for the 3DS, Samus 2 or Metroid 2. If you bought and I think it only came in a set, but there was a little amiibo where it was a Metroid that was like on there was a jar that the Metroid was in, and it was broken, and the Metroid was outside of it. And locked behind that, you could play that game in, I think they called it Fusion mode, which gave you the Metroid Fusion suit, which is just an aesthetic thing. But I think it was also like the hardest difficulty that you could get.
I do kind of remember.
And you could only play it if you had that amiibo, which now, if you look, like you can find it on Amazon for $125. Yeah, it's they should not have locked this behind a $25 figure. This should be, unless there are just drastic changes to this game that they have been really quiet about, they should not be locking anything behind.
Not for $60.
No.
At least with Mass Effect being a $60 game, you're getting 3 games. You're getting 150 hours of content easy.
Yeah.
Plus,
unless Nintendo decides to like have the biggest fucking shock of the century and be like, hey, you know how we announced that Skyward Sword is coming out? Well, actually, you're going to get Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD with it for free. And it's like, okay, then I can justify it, but there's no way that's going to happen. Yeah.
Like, even last year, we gave the Mario 3D All-Stars collection shit when they announced it. Like,
yes,
it was not perfect. Where the fuck is Galaxy? Where's Galaxy 2? Or sorry, where's Galaxy 2?
Yeah, Galaxy 2.
Galaxy was in it, but like
nothing was different about it.
Just a straight up port of Super Mario 64. Like, no work done on that game at all. Yeah. It's like the same game that launched in 1996. It's the same one. But at least there were 3 games there.
Yeah. You can justify and say it's $20 per game. That's the cheapest you're ever going to get a Mario game for.
This is one Wii game that is being ported straight, and you're locking a new feature behind an additional $25. So to get the entire experience, $85. It's just
the
ridiculous.
Big thing that I don't understand is that like this game got a lot of hate when it was current, and Nintendo's doing themselves no favors in getting the people who hated it to give it another chance.
This is their opportunity to be like, hey, this game that a lot of you didn't like at the time, now you can like, this is a game worth playing, and we're gonna prove it to you.
Yeah.
But we're gonna lock it behind an $85 paywall.
Yep. Because like I said, I plan on buying that amiibo. I don't know if I'll ever actually use the feature. I'll probably put it on my shelf with my other amiibos and forget that it has the ability to do anything. Right. But that's because I'm not buying it for the purpose. I'm buying it because I want it.
And those are two, again, I think the amiibo is totally fine. It's just the philosophy behind it really has nothing to do with the amiibo. It's about the remaster is the thing that the issue, like, the issue is not the amiibo. The issue is the remaster.
Definitely. Especially because if you have a Wii U, you can still buy Skyward Sword on the eShop channel or whatever for $20, like the original one. And based on screenshots, it doesn't look like you're going to really be able to tell the difference, besides the fact that you're playing it on a Wii U gamepad instead of a Switch.
And you know what? I've been trying to think through this conversation, and really for the last couple of days since this broke out. Like, what is the issue here with the remasters? Because I think we're in a pretty good place with remasters for the most part. Like, when remasters first started to become a thing last generation, there was a lot of concern on the internet that like, oh, no, we're not getting new games anymore. We're just getting remasters. Like,
we're just getting the same old games.
Yes.
But nicer.
And to an extent that's still true. I think the games industry has proven at this point that remasters are easy for the most part. And they're just an additional way for us to get more money to publish new games.
Yes.
I don't think there's been a single example outside of maybe the Master Chief Collection where like a game developer has had to like pause their future plans in order to work on a remaster. Like that hasn't really been a thing.
It was like a side project.
Yeah. Just basically a way to bring in more money. And it's a win-win because you're introducing a new audience to the game on top of it.
Yes.
There were some pretty iffy remasters at the beginning of last generation with games that had come out pretty recently. Like when Borderlands launched like the Handsome Jack collection. Like at least again that was a collection, but there was like some examples where they just like Grand Theft Auto was one. But we don't really see much of that anymore. Like when we're getting remasters at this point, if we're getting remasters, it's for games that are at least 10 plus years old.
Yes.
And usually there's thought put into it.
Yeah, it's not just a straight port.
Nintendo really seems to be, in my eyes, the only company that's not doing it right. And it's not even a Japanese thing because we see Square Enix doing it right. Like with Final Fantasy VII Remake, they're just giving us the port for free. Like if you bought Final Fantasy VII on PS4, you're just getting you're getting it for free on PS5. And so I don't think it's not an Eastern versus Western thing. It's just a Nintendo thing.
Would Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire be a remake?
Yeah.
Or a remaster?
I would say that's a remaster. No,
Like,
I would say remake.
The new Diamond and Pearl, are those going to be remakes or remasters?
I would say that's a remake.
Okay, so then different idea.
Sure.
Because there's a big difference between a remake and a remaster, right?
Yeah. Like Mass Effect is a remaster.
Yes.
It's Mass Effect versus Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
You don't really see that many remakes for games that are newer than for games that are newer than 15 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Like a game has to be pretty old for them to remake it, which I think a lot of people expected them to do to Mario 64. Like I think that when that collection was announced, we were expecting Mario 64 to
pretty much look like Galaxy.
Yeah. Or
like
Odyssey even.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? What, and you're just going to straight port it?
Can you imagine if they remade it's that image of the like very perfect future society where everything's all nice and like there are hover cars. And that's where we would be if Nintendo had remade all three of those games a la Mario Odyssey. Yeah, Nintendo's the only one, as per usual, who is playing by their own rules, and it's unfortunately getting away with it.
And it doesn't actually make sense when you really think about it. Because Nintendo is the one that's supposed to be like ultra fierce about their IP. And you would think that it would, like, this isn't healthy for their IP.
No. They're that dog. They're that dog in the comic who's holding the ball. And he says, throw. No take. Only throw. That's Nintendo with their IP.
Yeah.
Buy it. We're not going to... No work's going to be done on it. And we're not going to, like, support it and make it so that new people want to get involved. Would just buy it.
Yeah, they're not taking care of their IP. Like, they're only hurting it.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, they're going to introduce new people to it, and there are people who are longtime fans that are going to buy it again just because...
Me.
Yeah. And I'm not blaming those people. I'm not blaming you for buying that game. It's one of your, like, it's your series. I would buy it if I liked Zelda. Like, if this was Persona 3, I'm going to buy if Atlas comes, I'm buying Shin Megami Tensei 3 Remaster.
Yes.
Which is this. Atlas is charging $60 for an up-res of Shin Megami Tensei 3 from the PS2. Actually, I guess Atlas is shit at it.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe Square Enix is the only Japanese company that does it right, apparently.
But apparently, I mean, Square Enix is such an enigma because
No, though.
They also made Balan Wonderland, right?
Oh, yeah.
They sure did. The ones who financed that?
And Atlas also, they only charged $20 for Persona 4 Golden on Steam. It's not like they launched Persona 4 Golden and charged it.
So it is a Nintendo problem.
Yeah. But like, okay, I'm gonna buy Shin Megami Tensei 3. If they release Persona 3 Fez, just a straight up port of Persona 3 Fez, and charge $60 for it, I'm gonna buy that game.
Yes.
I'm part of the problem. I understand that.
We all are for our favorite series. We're willing to overlook things that otherwise we absolutely should not.
But to people who aren't into that IP, like me as not a Zelda fan, me as not a Mario fan, I'm not going to go buy Mario 3D All-Stars. I can't anymore, but I didn't go buy it because I don't have an attachment to it, and it doesn't look like Nintendo cares about it because they're just releasing this shit.
I guess the better question that we should probably be asking, we won't have an answer for, is what's Nintendo's goal in making a remaster? Because it's not to introduce new fans to old games. That's for damn sure.
No.
Is it literally just a cash grab that they know that they'll get from their, I don't know what the numbers are, but
millions.
There's gotta be
tens
of
millions
of people who will buy any Zelda game or any Mario game, like just free money that they're able to just print, basically.
That is a good question. Like, why did you do it? If you're not going to give a shit about it and like treat it with care, then why did you do it at all?
Yeah. Because they said that the Mario one was a celebration of the anniversary.
Right.
But that's really, that was like all that they did besides Mario 35.
Some Animal Crossing stuff on the 36th anniversary.
36th anniversary.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess it goes back to the heart's not there. It's literally just the wallet's there.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
For that company in particular, because they're the one that's always like, oh, we're a toy company. We're all about love and fun and games and no, you're about money.
So strange because you have the creative side who are making the games. These remasters have to 100% be the business side, and the creative teams are not involved at all.
It's just so weird because Nintendo, but at a certain point, it's not like there is overlap there because Miyamoto, while he is not in charge of Nintendo, has a lot of pull. If Miyamoto would have been like, you know what, no, we're not. I don't want to do this. Like, we need to treat Mario better. We need to treat Zelda better. These are his babies. Yeah. He made these things with his own goddamn hands. He could have very easily been like, no.
Do you think he just doesn't care anymore?
It could be.
Do you think he's just tired?
He could be tired. He could just be Scrooge McDucking. Who knows?
I think he's just tired. Let Miyamoto take a nap.
Yeah. I wonder what the next, I guess we'll see what happens with these other Zelda ports, if they're even a thing.
Yeah, the Twilight Princess and excuse me, Wind Waker HD ports. Which, like, the work is already done to, those would have to, I say they have to.
The work was done
those
years
would
ago.
have to be in a set, right? They can't sell those each for $60 a piece.
No.
Because they're not even upscaling the graphics. They can't even sell it on the, oh, it's 1080p now. You already did that. It has HD in the name.
Man,
that'll be the telltale sign of what the fuck
yeah
their purpose is in these remasters.
Because before Twilight Princess or before Skyward Sword was announced, I would have thought that for sure these would have been a bundle, or they would have been discounted. They would have not been full price titles.
Yeah.
Unless major work went into them, unless all new textures or whatever. But that's not what's happening. So no. At this point, I have no idea. Who knows? I'm just going to assume the worst. I think they're all going to come out and they're all going to be $60. And then after here's how it's going to go. This is my ultra pessimist mode. Okay.
Wish I had a clown nose I could just put on.
To make them.
Clown is going to buy them.
Here we go.
How much money
July.
is John spending?
Skyward
this
Sword.
year?
Skyward Sword comes out in July.
Yes.
Sometime in October. We're going to get an October Zelda 20. Finally, we're going to get the actual 35th anniversary direct for Zelda in October. They're going to announce Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. Maybe even Ocarina and Majora's Mask. All of the 3D Zelda games.
I'd love to get those 4 on one.
Here's what we did predictions last week again. I think they're going to sell Ocarina, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker they'll do that as a trilogy of games. They'll sell those 3 together. And then they're going to release Twilight Princess as a standalone $60 title for whatever reason.
I could see them doing 2 sets of 2.
That too. That could work too.
Because then you have the N64 games, and then Twilight Princess, I think originally came out on the GameCube.
Yeah, it was on GameCube and Wii, I think.
But I think it came out on the GameCube like a couple weeks before it came out on Wii, if I remember right. So then you have the GameCube collection, and then you have the Nintendo 64 collection. And then Skyward Sword is the only one that came out exclusively for Wii. So
and then
by console.
And then they're going to announce those for a spring 2022 release. So they come out on the 36th anniversary of Zelda.
Perfect.
And then
I really hope that
and then I'm not done yet. And then in November we get another direct. And they announce that Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy, and Mario Galaxy 2 are all releasing as standalone titles for $40 a piece.
Yeah, that tracks. Here's something that I just remembered that made me more upset about this whole situation. Nintendo's proven that they can do a remake correctly if they want to. And they proved it with Zelda literally a year ago when they released Link's Awakening.
Yeah,
what the toy version?
Fuck? That was perfect. That's exactly that's the good remake.
Why are they
like this?
Man,
that was perfect. That was exactly what you look for.
I've confused myself so much more now by remembering that exists.
Wow, my God. Is that the same company? Are we sure Nintendo made that? Are we sure that wasn't just like some college student project that they co-opted and decided to put out?
It had to be hoard out, right?
I literally don't know how they put out that game and then the Mario 3D All-Stars collection in the same calendar year.
I think so. No, I think Link's Awakening remake came out in 2019.
That sounds right. Yeah, that's unbelievable. It's not like there was a major, at least not public. I mean, I know that obviously Reggie stepped down, but it's not like Reggie had a ton of creative influence over what the studios were doing anyway. He's like the America person. Nintendo was still a Japanese company. The creative decisions are largely, for the most part, decided on in Kyoto. They're not decided on in Seattle.
Yeah. So it looks like, if I'm reading this right, Grezzo might be the ones who were behind Link's Awakening remake. And after looking at it a little bit more, it would make sense because they also were behind the Majora's Mask 3D and Ocarina of Time 3D remakes, which I didn't play those, but I've seen that they actually did put some like actual polish and effort into those too.
Those were on the 3DS, right?
Yeah. But they weren't just straight ports from N64. Like I've seen side-by-side cutscenes or like screenshots of each, and like there's definitely work that was put into those, especially putting it on the 3DS and giving it 3D effects. So I guess if Nintendo does it in-house, it's shit. But if they outsource it, it's not.
Checks out.
What a backwards way to handle things.
Yeah.
Be overprotective of your IP.
And then let somebody else
do
really
a
take care of
garbage
it.
job
Yeah.
with it yourself.
I will never understand that company.
Neither will I. Oh well.
All right. Let's end the podcast on a good note. You ready for this?
Sure.
So somebody named Rocks the Squirrel on Twitter
Oh boy.
was trolling around the public copyright catalog, apparently, as some people apparently do.
Man, people, I can't judge because I have weird fucking hobbies too, I'm sure, to others. But some people have the strangest hobbies.
Yeah.
More power to you, but like, I can't imagine just scrolling through what is like going to soon be in public domain.
So this person was just digging through Sega's copyrights. I guess they tweeted they wanted to take a look at what Sega was doing. So they looked through Sega's copyrights.
Sure.
And they found the copyright for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the major motion picture.
Oh, excellent.
Let me read you. What's not synopsis? What's is it synopsis? What's like the beginning like in an academic article, the top part where it's like a little snapshot?
Synopsis.
Okay, here's
That's the synopsis.
here's the description of work. After settling in Green Hills, Sonic is ready for more freedom, and Tom and Maggie agree to leave him home while they go on vacation. But no sooner are they gone than when Dr. Robotnik comes back, this time with a new partner, Knuckles, in search for an emerald that has the power to both build and destroy civilizations. Sonic teams up with his own sidekick, Tails, and together they embark on a journey to find the emerald before it falls into the wrong hands. Being directed by Jeff Fowler and starring Jim Carrey, James Marsden, and Ben Schwartz.
Excellent.
Sonic
so are they
the
going
Hedgehog
after?
2.
I wonder if they're going after the Master Emerald, because there's 7 Chaos Emeralds. So like,
Is it? I feel
is
like
this gonna be the start of a 7-movie series where each movie they go after another Chaos Emerald?
It could be. You would assume at some point during this movie, Knuckles figures out that he doesn't want to be with Robotnik anymore, and decides to jump ship. Is there anything else interesting on here?
I hope that we get a fully fledged Sega cinematic universe.
Creation of work began March 15th, 2021. Date of anticipated completion, February 2022.
Excellent.
Didn't we get a release date for it?
If we did, I did not see it. Can you imagine if Sega, if they actually like create a Sega cinematic universe?
Who else would be in that? Kiryu? Bring in the Yakuza Persona.
Persona for sure. You'd have an Amy Rose movie, a Tails movie. I don't know what else you'd have. They had some weird kid game. Like the main character was named something Kid, right?
I am not familiar with Sega. Yeah. Outside of like the few things that I do. No. Like what does Sega publish now? Aside from Atlas, like I know all of the Atlas games, obviously. And then Sonic the Hedgehog. But like, what? I guess they do. Like Phantasy Star is them. I guess. 2 Point Hospital.
Alex Kidd, was that it? I think it's Alex
That
Kidd.
sounds. Oh, Super Monkey Ball.
Oh yeah.
You got a Super Monkey Ball movie.
Yeah, Alex Kidd, that was theirs. Sega's all over the place.
They really are.
I can't wait for Sonic 2.
April 8th, 2022.
Hell yeah.
Less than a year away.
Get your shots, everybody.
Go
Let's
to
all
the
go
movies.
see it together. Except I'll still want to just watch it from the comfort of my own home.
I'm
Go
really
back to
bummed
theaters.
that what I hope happens is that all of these blockbusters, because right now, like all of the taglines on all of the movie trailers are only in theaters.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man Far From Home, only in theaters. I really hope that a lot of these movies don't do well. I mean, I want them to do well, but I hope that their opening weekends are disappointing so that they go back to releasing them on streaming services.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be an example of me voting. It's going to be one of the few times I vote with my wallet because I don't want to have to go to the movies.
Yeah. No, I don't either. No thanks. I will pay you the movie ticket price to watch it from my house. I'll pay you more than the movie ticket price so that I can have a good meal and watch from my house.
Yeah, I would.
And
Again,
like be
I
able
would.
to pause if I need to like go to the bathroom or something. Like just the convenience of everything.
Yeah. Not getting shot.
Not
That's
getting
great.
shot. That'd be pretty neat.
America, folks.
Not getting like a disease from the person who showed up and is sneezing everywhere.
Not having to deal with like shitty teenagers or people talking during the movie or cell phones. Just fucking. I want to watch on my goddamn couch. Sega.
Let me stream them
Warner
all
Brothers,
from
Universal,
now on,
Disney.
forever.
If you
You can
liked,
charge me double the ticket price. That's fine. You can force me to send a picture of how many people are watching and charge each of them ticket prices. I don't care.
I think that Disney's charging $30 for their premiere. Like when Mulan premiered, I think it was $30 in addition to Disney Plus's subscription.
Yeah, that sounds
to
right.
watch it. I think that's more than fair.
Yeah,
I would pay that.
as would I.
If you liked this episode of the QuickTime Event Podcast, you can find us broadcasting here on twitch.tv/QTE Plays every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also find the podcast on YouTube and on all of your favorite podcast services. I am on Twitter at Josh Clasen. John is on Twitter at John Kamenko. We are now a little bit over a week away from our 24-hour Extra Life reward stream.
Boogaloo.
We are doing as a reward for reaching our donation goal last year's Extra Life event. So we are going to be
you want
streaming.
us to or not?
We're going to be streaming for 24 hours. Actually, this is a good thing to bring up here. We're going to be streaming for 24 hours next Saturday,
The 29th.
the 29th, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, going to 8 a.m. the following day on Sunday. I think, because this is not going to be a normal Extra Life stream,
No.
because it's just a reward. So we're going to be doing some stuff. Obviously, we want to play games with you all. We're going to be playing games all day.
Yes.
We're going to pick up our Persona 4 Let's Play on the 29th and play that
Big
for
old chunk of that.
quite a while. I also...
Maybe 2 sessions, split it up and do like
Yeah,
in the
possibly.
morning and then like late at night.
I also we also are going to do the Bob Ross episode.
Yes. Yes. Painting.
Also, I think let's do a podcast on Saturday.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
wrap it all in one thing. So
Smart.
no podcast next Thursday. No podcast on the 27th. We will do a podcast during the Extra Life event on the 29th. And actually, where'd the document go? I closed it already. I think
Right where
I
you
was...
left it.
So the
Or on
29th...
Google.
No, we were going to do the E3 predictions on the 10th. I was going to say maybe we should do our E3 predictions during it. But I'll think about that. Because I still don't know that they've like cemented exactly what E3 is, like what's happening.
Yeah.
They've said who's going to be there, but they haven't given us like an actual schedule. So I don't know what that's going to look like exactly. But
I mean, as long as they announce it by the 28th.
That's true. So we'll see. But we'll do a podcast during that and we'll make a day out of it.
Hell yeah.
Anything else for the good of the order?
Nope.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next time.
Peace out.
Bye.